All right, we are looking at try 3 final review, numbers 14, 15, and 16. We're talking about 45, 45, 90 triangles and 30, 60, 90. We're going to start with 45, 45, 90. Remember that they have two 45-degree angles, 190, hence the name. Remember that this side is going to be like S. This one is also S. Actually, I'm sorry, those always look like 5s. So let's make this one A. We'll make this one also A, and we'll make this one A times the square root of 2. Now, once you have your A value for your triangle, you can just plug that in for all three of those variables there. So I always start out by figuring out what my equations are. So I know this side has to be A, this side has to be A, and my hypotenuse is going to be A root 2. Now we're trying to find our hypotenuse, this length here, and I already know that A equals 3 times the square root of 2. So I'm going to take that value and plug it in for A here. So I'm going to do 3 root 2 times the square root of 2. Remember, this is just like A root 2. That's all I'm doing is plugging it in. When I have the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, I have 3 times the square root of 4, which is really just 3 times 2, which gives me 6. So my hypotenuse is going to have a length of 6. This triangle is on your note sheet. Hopefully it's helpful to you. Mostly you just need to know which side is which and how to find A. In this case, A was just given to you, and all you had to do is plug it in. Again, if you're like, hey, Miss Sylvester, I get it, but like this calculation's confusing, throw that in your calculator. If you put this in your calculator just like that, it should give you 6 at the end, and you don't have to worry about knowing how your radicals work. You can just put it in the calculator and call it a day. 15 says find the lengths of the missing sides of the triangle. Write your answers as integers or decimals rounded to the nearest tenth. So again, we have our 45, 45, 90. Remember, we have 45. This one's also 45, and we have the 90-degree angle. My side lengths again are A, and A root 2. And I'm going to go ahead and label this triangle here. So this one's my hypotenuse. It's across from my right angle, so it's going to be A root 2. This one is going to equal A, and this one's going to equal A. Good news, they totally just give us our A value for this one too. So I know that Y also has to equal 8. And I know that X equals A times the square root of 2. We also know that A equals 8. So this is the same as 8 root 2. Now this one wants your answer as a decimal. So you should just go ahead and type that into a calculator, 8 root 2. We can do 8 times root 2. Either way, gives you the same answer. When I do that, I get 11.3. And that is my answer for X. So we have X is 11.3, Y is 8. If I look at my options, A is out, B is out, and it is going to be C. C has X equals 11.3 and Y equals 8. The last one says find the values of the variables. If your answer is not an integer, leave it in simplest radical form. So again, just leave your square root in your answer. This time we're talking 30, 60, 90s. For 30, 60, 90s, we have a short side, a long side, and your hypotenuse. Let's draw a better picture. Short, long, hypotenuse. Your smaller angles down here, your bigger angles up here. If I label my sides, my shortest one is A. My hypotenuse is 2A. And then this guy here is A times the square root of 3. Now, I'm going to go ahead and label my picture too. I know that 11 equals A. My hypotenuse is 2A. And this guy here is A root 3. We need to figure out X and Y. I know Y equals 2A. And I also know that A equals 11. So Y is going to be 2 times 11, which is 22. So go ahead and cross out anything that doesn't have Y equals 22, which, as it will have it, is 3 options. For good measure, I know X equals A times the square root of 3. A is 11, so I have 11 root 3. That's already in simplest radical form, so I can just go ahead and leave it there. So my final answer is going to be B.